Let me see. Is this working? Yes. I believe it's working. Yeah, I'm alive. Okay, that's good. Hello, everyone. It's me, Ari.com Rashid. I'm your anthropologist and sociologist. Thanks for being at another live. This is going to be a short live I'm doing this morning. I was just fasting and praying this morning, and I decided that I'm going to make this live stream because the topic of this live stream is something a lot of believers are still doing that they really need to stop doing. All right? If you're here, let me know in the live chat, please. Thank you very much. Don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you. Listen, we need to stop projecting goodness on questionable people. Now, we know that people can project negativity onto others. Why are they doing this? It's a way to escape facing themselves. Someone that's cheating on their spouse may suspect their own spouse of cheating or doing something dirty towards them. And as a matter of fact, there is zero proof nor evidence that the spouse that they accuse of cheating is actually cheating. The thing is, they consider cheating or they have cheated, and now they're afraid the same bad behavior may happen to them, just like they did to other people. So their projection reveals their own low quality. And understand, there's a difference between evidence and proof. All right, so evidence and proof are not the same. Evidence is a suggestion that something probably happened. Proof is definitely certain something happened. Okay, let's say um, someone says Rashid robbed the supermarket, and they will say, okay, you made it seem Rashid robbed the supermarket. How do you know he robbed the supermarket? First of all, is there any police report that the supermarket has been robbed? And they will say, well, I saw Rashid walking by the supermarket this morning. And they will say, okay, if you say the supermarket was robbed, there must at least be missing items over there. What are the missing items? Is there money missing? Are there goods missing from the supermarket? If there are no missing items, nothing has been robbed. So make the statement Rashid robbed the supermarket, it implies that things are missing that should be there. And just because you saw Rashid walking by the supermarket this morning doesn't mean that he robbed the supermarket. I mean, he can walk by the supermarket in the morning because he needs to go to work. I mean, a lot of people will walk by the supermarket in the morning. So Rashid walking by the supermarket in the morning, around the same time the supermarket was robbed, does not mean he robbed the supermarket. Because there are more people walking by the supermarket. Now, Rashid walking by the supermarket around the same time it was robbed is evidence. You can use it as a suggestion Rashid may have robbed the supermarket. But it's not proof. Let's say the supermarket was robbed. They stole all the money from the counters in the supermarket. And a few days later, you see Rashid driving in a brand new car. It can be Rashid was saving money and he bought a new car. And that him buying that new car is not related at all to the supermarket being robbed. So just because you saw Rashid walking by the supermarket the morning was robbed, and a few days later saw him with a brand new car, does not mean he robbed the supermarket and used that money to buy the new car. It's a possibility, but it's not probable. Now, If it was security footage of a CCTV, if it was CCTV footage in which your shit was recorded, breaking into the market and leaving with cash, now that is proof. Because now there's no doubt about it. If later you found his fingerprints over the supermarket after it was robbed, okay, now, and you also see him CCTV footage, now you have proof. I hope this is clear onto you. Evidence is a suggestion something probably happened. Proof is confirmation it did happen. When you're arrested by the police because you're a suspect in a crime, there is no proof you did it. They have to prove it in a court of law beyond reasonable doubt that you did it. And even in a court of law, it's never 100% certain that they can prove it. But they have to prove it beyond reasonable doubt. If they cannot prove beyond reasonable doubt with the evidence available, you walk off. Simple as that. So again, if someone tells you your wife cheated on you, anyone can say that just to slander you or cause trouble. If they tell you your wife cheated on you, and you ask them, how do you know? Where you get this from? And they tell you, have you noticed your wife is coming late from work lately? And you would say, well, my wife told me she needs to overwork. And then you tell them, hold on a minute, sir. I work at the same company your wife is working at. I work at the HR. We don't do overwork at the company. We don't. And you show him proof of the company's policy that they don't do overwork. Now, there is evidence your wife is cheating on you, but the evidence does not prove she has cheated on you or is cheating on you. That evidence at the same time is proof your wife is lying. Because your wife told you she's often late from work because she's overworking. Okay? But now an employee of the same company of your wife is showing you proof that they don't do overwork. So that proof is showing that your wife is lying. But it's not proof your wife is cheating. Even though it's very likely she's cheating, it's just evidence, not proof. Evidence versus proof, big difference. They're not the same. Now, when someone behaves well towards you, is that proof they're a good human being? Let me know in the live chat. By the way, if you're driving a car or you're in traffic, please pay attention to the road. All right? No traffic accidents under my watch. But anyway, question to you all. If someone behaves well towards you, is that proof they're a good individual? Nope, absolutely not. Why? Because scam artists and con artists tend to behave very well towards you, just to make you feel comfortable enough to trust them. And once you trust them, they abuse that trust to scam you or con you. Another another question: if someone um, malfunctioned one day, they acted a bit insensitive, is that proof they have bad intentions? If someone malfunctioned one day, they acted a bit insensitive towards you, is that proof they have bad intentions towards you? Absolutely not. It can be they just heard 2 days ago that their mom or dad passed away, and because that emotionally they can't function well, so they need time to recover. That they act insensitive towards you doesn't mean that they hate you or have ill will towards you. It's just that they didn't function well. Later, they apologize, say, I'm sorry, I know what happened to me. So, again, we already concluded during this live stream that behavior itself is not proof of someone's quality, whether of high quality or low quality. Good people or good quality people can malfunction at times due to stress or due to things overwhelming them. It doesn't mean they are bad people. It simply means they're good people who malfunction at a moment. And you also have bad or evil people acting very well just to get a bailout. So if you make conclusions of how people are based on how they behave alone, you're in trouble. Now, behavior does reveal something about individual, but it doesn't reveal everything. I mean, a coward will behave very well if they see a police officer walking by. You know why? Because they don't want to go to jail, nor do they want to get a ticket. But that same individual may scream at his wife or beat his child because they want to look at on their own internal turmoil. The same individual with the same low quality, with the same demons, may behave completely better uh, based on the circumstances. So, good behavior is not proof someone is good. So, when they say actions speak louder than words, that statement is not true because sometimes actions are good, but the good actions are only there to achieve an illegitimate goal. And sometimes someone's actions appear bad based on the information you know about the situation. For example, let's say you hear that someone doesn't want to speak to their parents anymore. And the parents are crying, asking, why doesn't my son or daughter want to speak to me? Based on the information you have, you may conclude that the parents are heartbroken and that the children are insensitive, even harsh towards the parents. And if you are religiously indoctrinated with this idea that you people owe their parents unconditional honor, this is not biblical, by the way. Let's say you're religiously indoctrinated based on your religious perception. You may side with the parents, and you may turn on the grown children, telling them you need to, even though your mom is not the best, she did her best for you, blah blah. But that's your perception. Their behavior appears bad. Later, when you find out the truth that those people are narcissists who never take responsibility for their actions, especially how bad they treated the people close to them, including their children, now you understand that those grown children are adults who suffer mental harm caused by their parents. And the parents won't even admit that they were wrong nor improve. And now those grown people decide, well, don't mean when we were children, we had no choice. But now they're grown ups, we're not going to allow ourselves to continue to be harmed, not even by our own parents. So now that you found out the truth, now you know that those two narcissists were providing evidence that the children were mistreating them. But now you know that now you know the whole situation, you know that they were lying. So evidence not proof. What I'm saying is too often we make conclusions about people based on our own bias. Now everyone has a bias. Uh, a manager at work has a different view of work than someone is cleaning the shelves. A manager a manager at the hospital has a different view on the situation than a nurse. So there's nothing wrong with a bias, as long as you admit your bias and you're willing to put your bias aside when required. When you have a bias and you're not even aware you have a bias, that means you operate in darkness because you're not self-aware of your own bias. And if you are or if you lack self-awareness of your own biases and you act on them thinking that it's just plain facts you're doing, sorry, you're in error. And you can never come to the right conclusions operating like this. You need to be self-aware of your own biases. And you need to be aware that you may need to investigate before you conclude. Too often, we operate based on our own bias. And we come to conclusions that don't end up, but because conclusions feel real to us, we assume our conclusions are true. And because we did do some reflecting on facts, we think, hey, I did reflection on facts. This individual treats me well. They don't use cuss words. They're sensitive. So they're good people. So based on your bias on what a good person is, you conclude they're good people. But here's the thing. Your conclusion is not true because your conclusion was based on your own bias that you haven't noticed, that you're not even aware of. So you may conclude someone is a good individual and later hear all these horrible stories about them. Now, if those horrible stories are made up as a form of slander, then yeah, absolutely. It's just people making this up about individual. But what if you hear stories about the individual and now people are showing you proof of the accusations, but you already made up your mind those are good people. Now you need to admit that your conclusion was wrong and you made the wrong emotional investment. And this is something a lot of people don't want to admit nor go through. It can be painful to admit you made the wrong conclusion about someone. Whether it was the conclusion they were good people or they're not, or whether you made the wrong conclusion about they're bad people or bad news, and now you found out that you were the one being bad, you were the bad news, making wrong conclusions by not examining things. And if you already stood up for this individual, and you already associate with this individual, and now you find out that they're not they appear to be, your credibility is also in question now. But there is a way to avoid uh, these awkward situations. Learn the difference between evidence and proof. And the Bible tells us prove all things or examine all things. Prove all things simply means you look for the proof about the matter. You don't just gather evidence to support your opinion, or you don't just gather evidence to support what you want to hear or what you want to be true. Prove all things or examine all things means that you look at the proof of a situation. And that is how we ought to deal with other people. Look, we're not going out there assuming bad intentions on other people just like that. That's paranoia. You're out of your mind if you do that. And if that's you, just going around assuming bad intention on other people when there's not even a hint there may be a bad intention, I'm sorry. You are the paranoid one. You need to look for help. You need to recover. You're the one with the problem over here. There should at least be some evidence that's credible before you even assume a bad intention on someone else's behalf. So, no, we're not going out there just accusing people of bad intentions or without any credible evidence. And again, evidence is not proof, it needs to be examined. But what we also should not do is go out there and automatically assume people are good people. I know it can make you feel good on the inside to assume everyone you encounter is good, or it may make you feel good that everyone around you wants to be good or wants good outcomes. Well, actually, people should want to have good outcomes. That's healthy. But Is everyone on earth healthy? No, not everyone on earth is healthy. We're not going to go around just assuming bad intentions from people. That's paranoia. That, that can even turn into slander and all types of trouble. But what we also are not going to do is to assume everyone is of good quality, or everyone even wants to be of good quality. Toxic and bad people exist. Evil people also exist. Doesn't mean everyone out there is toxic or evil until proven innocent. But we're also not going to just assume people are guilty. No. When you encounter other people, you need to understand you're dealing with a human being who has a background. They were born somewhere. They suffered dysfunction, and they may have issues they need to recover from. And it's based on a spiritual examination that you can come to the conclusion what you're dealing with. Again, there's a difference between telling something and showing something. Someone can tell you um, your wife is lying to you about overworking. They can tell you that. Okay, anyone can tell you anything. It doesn't mean it's true. But if someone shows you proof, for example, a policy of the company or the hours your wife checked out, your wife checked out of work, now that's proof that she's been lying to you about overworking. So you can, for example, you can tell someone that um, someone is married, but if you show them the uh, marriage certificate or the wedding pic in combination with the wedding pictures or with some record from the local municipality, now you've shown. And by showing it, you've proven it. Anyone can tell you anything. But if they've shown you it, now that's a completely different matter. And I want you to understand the following. Devil worshippers, devil worshippers, they have the obligation to show you the truth, not to tell you the truth. Because anyone can tell you anything. But if they show you something, now that's a whole different level. Devil worshippers always have to show you the truth of what's going on. And by showing you the truth, they now have a leverage to blame you for participating in what they're doing. If devil worshippers just come out and do their dirt just like that, that means they are the perpetrator. Absolutely, of course, you are the perpetrator, and that means you are completely innocent because they just did something and dragged you into it. If they do that, it will backfire on them. So, devil worshippers, they have rules they need to follow. Devil worshippers will always show you what is actually happening. They will show you the truth, and it's up to you to admit the proof they're showing you. For example, let's say that you have, um, I would say, secret societies running your country. If someone tells you there's secret societies running this country, anyone can say that. Doesn't mean it's true or it deserves your attention. No. But if they show you pieces of legislation and they show you that the names behind the legislation are connected to bankers and the corporate world, and they show you that over and over again in the past 10 years, every legislation done in the country has links to corporations and bankers. Now that is proof that there's an unofficial group behind the scenes push legislation into the country. Now this is proof that there's a hidden hand behind the scenes running your country. They don't have to tell you. When they show you the proof, it's game over. Now, you have you now have the ability to decline the proof. But you declining the proof does not mean it's not proven. It is proven. You not admitting it's proven means that you're the one in denial. So this is how devil worshippers do it. They will always show you the truth about what's going on. If you decide to deny the proof or to ignore the proof or to brush it off, you made a conscious decision to be part of a bad situation. Now, this doesn't mean the devil worshippers now are innocent in what they're doing. They're still guilty. They're still the perpetrators. But now you are part of the wrong they're doing. So now that becomes their leverage in blackmailing you. That's how devil worshippers do. That's how devil worshippers work. They always have to show the truth of what's going on. And you, the human being with natural intelligence, it's your responsibility and obligation to pick up the proof. It's your responsibility and obligation to be sensitive and alert in life, to pick up the proof when proof is shown to you. That also means you need to examine things. So I hope this is clear onto you. Devil worshippers often get away because they have something on the population. Devil worshippers will always show you how pathetic and stupid and untrustworthy they are. They have to. For example, you may have a politician that's talking the talk, but there's never any proof that he is actually living what he's talking about. For example, when Donald Trump became the nominee for the Republicans in 2000, I believe it was 2015, and because he became president in 2016, when he became the nominee for the Republican Party, he was talking about let's make America great again. He was talking about conservative values and all that. But the problem is when you look at his life, he never lived out any of those Republican values, ever. So there was proof that this is not a good idea. There was proof. But because people want to escape, and Donald Trump was saying things people wanted to hear, people developed wishful thinking. And they thought if we just insist on it, it will be true. So people insisted that Donald Trump was a kind of savior to rescue and bail out the United States of America. And there were even people outside of the United States thinking Donald Trump is rescuing the Western world. Was there any proof that he even lived a conservative lifestyle? No, there was proof of the opposite. His whole life, he lived like a Democrat. So that's why, that's why when Trump came into office and he began to disappoint his base voters, they did not have the courage to call him out in the open. Why? Because there was never any proof he was the real deal. People jumped on him for what they wanted to hear and because they wanted to have their feelings gratified. No, and Donald Trump read this poem I believe they did it multiple times. Now you can look it up yourself, but it was this poem about a snake. Okay, and it went like this: there was a fair lady, a beautiful woman, who found a wounded snake outside in the cold, and a snake begged for sympathy, for help. She felt pity on the snake, and she brought the snake into her home. She gave the snake some warmth, fed the snake, and the snake recovered. Then one day, the snake bit her, and she was now dying. And she cried out to the snakes, "Why did you do this?" And the snake told her, "You knew I was a snake when you let me into your house. What do you expect?" There's another version of this poem in which it's a frog and it's a scorpion that's wounded, and the scorpion needs to cross some river, and the scorpion begged the frog, "Can you please transport me across the river? I will not sting you," and all that. So the frog, out of pity and compassion, helped the scorpion across. Half across the journey, the scorpion's tongue, the scorpion hit the frog. And the frog was asking, "Why do you do that? I'm helping you out. You promised me you would never do that." And he said, "Fool, you knew I was a scorpion." So the poem Trump used at the very beginning of his, what you can call, political career, was actually telling on the people that voted him in, or the people that supported him. There was no proof he was actually for all the things he claimed. There was proof of the opposite. So the fact there was no proof for any of the claims he made, and people didn't even examine him, they just went on with it, means the people themselves got involved into a bad situation. Well, apart from Donald Trump, look at any um, mass deception out there, and you'll find out sooner or later that people knew very well it wasn't a good idea. But because they had wishful thinking, because they wanted to escape, they endorsed someone or something they should never endorse. And now that the bad outcomes come, they want to act like they're fully innocent. They don't know what goes on, or they were tricked. You know, can people be tricked and taken advantage of out there? It happens. Can people take advantage of your kindness? It happens. That's why you need to be alert. Can you be the victim in the sense that you had no idea and you were tricked and taken advantage of? It happens. Don't blame yourself. But that's a different situation than you clearly noticing something's off, but you brush it off because of some wishful thinking. What we need to normalize as believers is that we do not call people good people unless there's proof people even want to be of good quality. Why? Because if we just make the assumption that someone is a good individual, what ends up happening is we begin to see them as good. And that bias of seeing them as good, we will miss out on warning symptoms. Now, it can always happen that you didn't notice a warning symptom. It happens with the best of us. But if you miss out on warning symptoms because you already made up your mind they're good people, I'm sorry, but you just set yourself up. Don't just assume they may be bad people either, unless there's proof that hints towards it. So, when you're dealing with other people, consider that they may be good people or they may be low quality people. As long as you're not certain whether they're good people or they're low quality people, you treat them with basic human decency, but you also examine them and you pray about it. We should pray about, prayer should be your lifestyle. You should be praying about everything to begin with. Prayer should be your lifestyle. You should be in prayer about the people you're involved with in life. Now look, you don't know everything as a human being, and you can't know everything. Okay? Sometimes, besides praying and examining, you need other people's perspective. Because sometimes outsiders can see things better than you do. It's just the way it is. So don't be afraid to make a wrong conclusion, because that is fear, and we shouldn't operate in fear. Just know that if you end up making the wrong conclusion, okay, you repent. And that's why if you make a conclusion about someone, check your conclusion to see where your conclusion can stand. If you conclude someone is a bad individual, just even examine your own conclusion if it stands. We need to be self-reflecting and have self-awareness. There are people out there who are just projecting their own darkness onto others, always accusing others of ill intent. Those people are paranoid and out of their mind. We know that. But the opposite, that we always project goodness onto other people without any proof to even want to be of quality, that puts us in danger. And we're also putting others in danger because we are promoting people we may not have any business in promoting. So again, this is the warning of this live stream. Do not project any goodness on people who don't even want to be good. Now, if you're raising children, you should project goodness onto your children, because that's how you raise and shape them. If someone is in recovery because they want to recover from a drug addiction or from a porn addiction, or they're receiving help to be better, in that case, projecting goodness is a method to push people to become better. So there's nothing wrong with projecting goodness. When you're raising children, you should project goodness onto them. You better not project negativity onto your own children. Are you kidding me? So projecting goodness is proper. Projecting goodness is a good thing. But it's not good to project goodness all the time. I'm not telling you to project negativity, or no, absolutely not. Projecting is a human ability we have, and we should use it for the better of our community. But it also means that if there is proof someone is not trustworthy, that means we have to stop projecting goodness. Understand this: projecting goodness is a good ability we have. We shouldn't project negativity onto people, absolutely not. If someone is not trustworthy, the proof will reveal it. We shouldn't just project negativity or on people, because that means that we're in the negative. However, just because you are in quality doesn't mean everyone around you wants to be of quality. Just because you are of good quality doesn't mean others are of good quality too. So consider that people may be of low quality. Maybe. Don't just assume they are. Consider they may be. If there's no proof they are low quality, don't treat them like that. But if there's proof that they're not trustworthy, follow the proof. Again, I'm not telling you to become some schizophrenic paranoid who always is looking for bad intention in people, even if bad intentions don't exist. Because you have people who lose their mind, become so paranoid that they always look for bad intentions that don't even exist. You may say hi to them and you think, why are you saying hi to me? Do you want something from me? You try to manipulate me? I think, I just said hi, just greeted you. But they insist you try to take advantage of them. You have to walk away from such an individual, because they're so convinced you have a bad motive towards them, even though there's no bad motive in you, that they will insist you have a bad motive. And why? They're the ones who are falling apart, and now they're dragging you with them. So you need to avoid people like that. So I'm not telling you to become a schizophrenic paranoid, always looking for demons when there's no demons around. I'm telling you about the opposite of always assuming goodness, even when there's no proof someone even wants to be good. If someone is dysfunctional, they're just dysfunctional. Dysfunction means just dysfunctional. Dysfunction does not mean someone is evil or has bad intention, just dysfunctional. If someone is dysfunctional, don't call them toxic or bad just because they're dysfunctional. We can deal with dysfunction, but we can't deal with neglect. So understand the difference between neglect and dysfunction. Dysfunction is just that, dysfunction. Someone does not function properly. They need help. They need to recover. Neglect is people don't care about becoming of good quality. They just excuse everything and just want to escape continuously. Understand the difference between neglect and dysfunction. Don't call dysfunctional people bad or evil. Absolutely not. Don't do that. But also don't call neglectful people good, saying making excuse as if they're just dysfunctional while they're neglectful. All right? Again, practice this in your daily life. Projecting goodness is a good thing, but it's not good all the time under all circumstances. There are times you need to withhold projecting goodness onto people and actually check what they really are. You should always check what people really are. Again, projecting goodness is a way to raise children, it's a way to motivate people to become better human beings. So projecting goodness has a place in daily life. But you should know when to project goodness and when not to. And when you shouldn't project goodness is when there is proof someone is not trustworthy. All right? Are there any questions about this topic? Please let me know in the live chat, please. Please let me know. Again, for those that are here, share this live stream, like the live stream, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet, become a member of the channel. Don't forget to be generous, donate in the links below. You have the bank link. Sometimes it doesn't work. You can try it with Apple Pay, or you can always use the PayPal link if you prefer. Also, be generous to purchase my novels on Amazon. Thank you very much. More upcoming. Hit like, share, subscribe, become a member, donate. Thank you very much. Purchase on Amazon. But apart from that, if you have any questions about this topic, let me know now. I'm going to wait for one more minute. If I get no questions, I'll close down the live stream. I thank you all for being here. This is a morning live. I don't do morning lives that often. I may do them more in the future. It's beginning of the day. I woke up, I was in prayer, was fasting, and I figured out this is a topic many of you need to hear. That's why I'm doing this live stream. Please consider this live stream. Replay it as often as you need. Let's get through to you. We're not supposed to go out there assuming darkness on people. We shouldn't do that. That's paranoid, that's pathetic, that's even cruel, and it's even wrong to do, just assuming people are bad or whatever. But what we also should not do is just assuming everyone around us are of good quality. We should be sensitive and alert towards other people, and we only conclude bad intentions if there is proof there are bad intentions. And at the same time, if people show that they want to improve and become better, then we can project goodness as a means to motivate them and push them to be better. But we should not project goodness when there's not even proof someone even wants to be better or wants to be part on the right side. All right? Again, thank you for being here. Keep agreeing with Christ. Like, share, subscribe, donate. I'll see you next time. And above all, agree with Christ. Shalom.